Another take one. Hello, everybody. Hi, Christian. How are you?
Very good, thank you, Saeed. How are you?
I'm doing well. We have made progress, so I've spent a bit of money from the proceeds from the YouTube. No, we haven't actually made money, but I bought a new microphone, so my sound quality might be a little bit better today.
Well, you look the part. Let's hope you sound the part.
Yeah, well, that's slow. I don't know if I ever gave you one of these when I came back from my that first Dubai trip after I met you. I don't think you were a big fan of this. It's one of these Arabic, uh, like oil-based perfumes.
At first, I didn't like it, and then I ended up wearing it every day. It was really nice.
All right. Maybe next time we go, we do a proper oil, Arabic oil shopping together.
Maybe we'll give them as gifts for clients purchasing properties.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sounds like a good idea.
Good plan.
I was thinking, well, we were thinking maybe we can talk about, I think there has been a few new launches recently in Dubai for villas and townhouses. A couple of big developers like Emaar with Grand Polo. They had Valley and Oasis actually not so long ago. I don't know if you recall, we were at the Emar's cell center, and I think we saw them on a map too.
Yeah, we did.
Uh, and Damac has just had like a very successful launch. They sold like 10 billion dirhams in one day. Obviously, there was a build up to it, but in one day they finalized it and they sold out all of their villas and townhouses in Dubai Island, which is actually a great project. Kind of a little bit out there, but that's just the nature of Dubai now. Like all the cities expanding from like sort of like the southern side, if you will.
Yeah.
But we thought maybe we can talk about this. Uh,
I think so. I think it's a really good subject. I think we've got a client base, haven't we, that are interested in that type of property investment in Dubai, and we were speaking away from the microphone about the potential capital growth and the advantages of buying that type of property in Dubai. So I thought it'd be a really interesting subject for people to learn about the benefits of buying villas in
yeah,
Dubai.
I think. But as we are talking, I thought maybe we should dedicate one episode about, you know, like the differences between investment in Dubai and UK, and those are the two markets that we specialize in. But I think at this point, because we just talked about townhouses and villa, I wanted to say this. I think some people may or may not know this, but one of the big things that every conversation normally starts this way is about the breakdown of the residential sort of typologies. I don't know if that's the right word here, but the kind of units that are available in Dubai, more or less. And I encourage people to, the internet police to come and correct me, but more or less 10 plus minus maybe 2-3% of the residential units in Dubai are villas and townhouses, and the rest are all apartment buildings. And there could be like G+2 or G+4, like short buildings, to mid-rise to high rises, which are like 60, 70, 100 stories, skyscraper, whatever. So this fact alone, it's kind of one of those things that makes villa and townhouses more in shortage of supply, basically, and it makes it more popular. So
For,
that's one of the big things that's come into the equation, basically.
for our uninformed UK investors, define a townhouse and a villa for me.
Very good question. You have here terrace houses or semi-detached or fully detached houses.
Yeah.
I'm sure there might be more like bungalows as well. That might be a little bit different. But that basically, those or equivalent of those are townhouses or villas. Villas are usually fully detached. They're standalone buildings. They could be G+1 or G+2, or sometimes the fancier one, G+3, or sometimes they even have a basement. I was just looking at like a mansion like villa yesterday. The basement was multiple parkings. It had a huge sort of air conditioned indoor parking area, gymnasium, seven bedroom. It was
Wow.
actually a Damac property in one of their more developed sort of villa communities. But
How
that's
much
a
did that
villa.
cost?
Uh, that was expensive. Around, I mean, in pound, I think 3.5 to 4 million pound. I think that was the price. I say that because there was kind of the gentleman had a couple of G wagons and other fancy cars in there, and he was willing to throw it in there at a reasonable offer. So that. But yeah, and the townhouses are basically semi-detached, and they usually come in blocks of. For example, I used to live in Springs, which is part of Emirates Hills, and Meadows too. So they come in blocks of 4, and there are 2 middle units, and they call them type whatever, like 4M, and 2 of them at the end, they're semi-detached, and they're called N type. So
Right.
if they're, for example, in the Springs, which is part of Emirates Hills, if they're one of MR development, if you have the 2-bedroom in the middle, they're called 4M, for middle, and the 2-bedroom at the end, they're called 4 end, and the end plus just are a little bit bigger because they're not attached at one end.
Okay.
But these are the basic definition of the villa and townhouses, to my understanding.
So they start at what, 2, 3 bedrooms, going up to 7, 8 bedrooms, do they?
Jumeirah Village Triangle, known also as JVT, which is also one of my favorite areas. I think it's very underrated, very because you don't have to cross one of those. It's called Al Khail Highway. You don't have to cross that. So if you're in Marina, in Emirates Hills, which I just talked about, JLT, which is like very officey sort of area, commercial area. And I don't know if you remember, we were talking to Shoba the other day with the Shoba Central 6 towers. All of these have very access to JVT. There are actually 1-bedroom townhouses there too. Sorry, it was a long-winded explanation
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
say that. But
Yeah.
yeah, predominantly 1-bedroom, and it goes all the way to 2, 3, 4, and larger ones. Yeah, the number
Okay.
of bedrooms.
Okay. From a price point of view, obviously there's lots on offer with different developers, but what would you say that the entry level is for our UK investors that are looking to invest in Dubai?
At the moment, as we speak right now, Damac and Emaar, with the Grand Polo Emaar, they're more expensive. But the uh, entry point right now is 2.7 million dirham, which if you it's just under 500,000 pounds, the starting price. Again, I think people know that already, but at the risk of sounding redundant, perhaps, the good thing about off-plan in general is that uh, there is a payment plan, so you don't need to pay everything upfront. As a rule of thumb, there with these sort of projects, which it is at a pre-launch sort of phase, there is something called EOI, or expression of interest, where you pay a deposit. Again, for the smallest unit that they have right now, it's somewhere around 20 to 25,000 pounds. That's the amount that they need to pay so that they can just get access. So when the project is launched, they can have visibility to the project, and which is a refundable fee. If by the time the projects were released, the availability list was released, and you didn't like it, and you didn't want, but for any reason you didn't like the unit that you saw, you can take your money back, and that access will be given to somebody else. But yeah, and if you liked it at the end, you need to pay 20% initially. And with Denmark right now, 75% needs to be paid by the completion, which is 4 years from now. And I think one thing that I would say about off-plan, there might be concern about the completion, and I would always say go and look at the track record of the company. So something like Damac or Emaar, they're public companies, they have shareholders, they're very reputable companies, they have done a lot of work in the past, and they're well, Emaar is kind of semi-governmental, so there is really no concern about that.
Yeah.
Damac has also their private company. The ownership originally is and in addition to the fact that they have stocks and they're a public company, but a big chunk of it is also owned by Mr. Hussein Sajwani, who is the CEO of the company. But also, I would say they have done a lot of similar projects, a lot of master plans, a lot of villa communities that they have delivered, and just feel free to go and see them. And I would take everything that you read online with a pinch of salt. Like there are a lot of comments there that they may, I don't know, they may not seem realistic. So my suggestion is that if you ever want to buy something, consult We are usually offering, every now and then we have offers for people to, we sort of basically offer them a trip to Dubai, all paid for if they decide to buy a property. So we are more than happy to offer that as well.
Do you think, from an investment point of view, buying a villa, obviously, if it's affordable, I'm thinking more in terms of capital appreciation. Do you think villa slash townhouse is the way to go if you're wanting to, let's say you're looking to maximize a return over, let's say, a 2 to 5 year period in terms of buying something, holding it, and then selling it? Is townhouse villa the way to go rather than an apartment?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. If you want, I can just go a little bit more into details as well. The reason that I started this conversation by talking about supply and demand, the fact that there isn't enough supply of townhouses and villas, and I do think the fact that just this year alone, there are around, I think the numbers are talking about 82,000 millionaires are moving to Dubai. A lot
Yeah.
of these people are like they move with families, they want to live in bigger spaces. Post COVID, a lot of people want to have a little bit of a bigger space and more privacy inside their home, and ideally have like an office home as well, so where they can do remote work. So more and more, especially if you have dogs, or if your or pets, you want to have that extra space as well, which a lot of people moving from the Western world, they do have that lifestyle. So villas are going to be, they are in high demand, and they continue to be. Uh, so definitely in terms of capital appreciation, they're unmatched. Like you cannot really compare it with apartments. Uh, and the big sort of underlying reason is this supply and demand. Uh, if I were to give actual numbers, a lot of development that was delivered, and the villa builders are not that many. So we are talking about Emaar, the biggest one, which is like I said, it's a semi-governmental company. Uh, then you have like Dubai Holding, where Nakhil, Miras, they are in there. Damac is a big one in sort of like the more private space. And there aren't that many. Haptour, Shoba had one. So there are maybe like just under 10 different builders that they do these villa communities or townhouse villa communities. So
Yeah.
yeah, and in terms of return on investment, a lot of people who have bought it from the moment that you buy it, by the time that it's completed, they have doubled, the value of the property has doubled. And I'm more than happy to do some case studies maybe in the next one of the next videos, and show you exactly, and so that it's not just some sort of a number that I pull out of thin air, or like a wishy-washy analysis. But yeah, I think the only reason that I may deter people from investing in villa is that, if and this is just as a rule of thumb for me personally, if somebody tells you do it and they can sell it for you or flip it for you, or make some sort of a promises, I would argue that, just as promising as it sounds, and as much as I have done it personally for myself and for many, family, relatives, close friends, I would not tell you to do this, like, and sort of base your decision on the fact that you can flip it. I think you should be prepared to go all the way, definitely until completion, and then at that point, that's the point that it can definitely materialize, like the capital appreciation.
Is the secondary market strong for villas?
Very strong, yeah. And again, I think people here are familiar with Rightmove, Zoopla. Uh, in Dubai or in UAE, you have Property Finder, Dubizzle, and this is not some sort of a plugin. These are just like tools that you can go online and use it, and you can see the prices of the villas in different ones. And I would encourage you to just like go and look for a springs, meadows, lakes, for example, Arabian ranges. Look at one property and like regularly track it, and you can see how quickly it becomes unavailable or sold. That's like the best way that you can see how quickly things move in a market.
That's a great idea, actually. So let's say myself or yourself were looking to buy a villa today. Is there always villas available, or do you have to wait for a developer to do a launch and then register yourself for a pre-launch? I'm talking in terms of new developments, not the secondary market. I'm just, obviously, with being there myself, knowing that there is supply and demand, not an issue, but demand is outstripping supply, and how quickly they get sold. Is there always the availability of one with some developer somewhere?
If you had asked this question about apartment, my answer immediately would be no. At least not for the majority of the supply that you see in the market. There isn't a shortage of investment opportunities. So
Yeah.
I just want to clarify it because it may seem like a loaded question, like as if there is no agenda here. But with villas, it's definitely the case. Again, if you like go back and look today, we're talking about 6th of November. Look at Dubai Island, the one that I just talked about earlier in this video, Damac launching that project. Look when it was launched, when they started collecting EOI. Right now, if you go to the market, to any brokerage or to the developer directly, you just simply cannot find any villa. So do not take my word for it. Just go do some research, do your due diligence, and you can see. No, when villas come to the market, it is at the time of the pre-launch where the EOI are being collected, where you can have access to this opportunity, if that is for you. And outside of that, by the time that the project is launched, there are so many EOI, there are so many people ahead of you that are keen to invest their money, and they know that they can double their the value of the property and investment in by the time that the property is ready. And they have done it, and it's so tested that no, that opportunity usually it doesn't become available in the market immediately.
Agreed. And I know, as I say, we've spoken about it, and we're certainly going to be putting some specific marketing material together with some comparables, with some case studies for our clients, because I know it's something that our clients have requested and are keen at looking at. So thank you so much for giving us an insight into that. It was very insightful. Much appreciated, sir.
Thank you very much. Another Take Fun come to an end. We passed our 15 minutes. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you. Take care. See you later, everyone.